The House of the Dragon Season 3 is coming back June 21st, and if you need a little refresher for the final season, this is for you. I'm going to give a brief overview of every episode so far and hit the important plot points, so grab a snack, hit that subscribe button, and let's get into it. Season 1, Episode 1. Around 200 years before Daenerys was freeing slaves and burning cities, King Viserys Targaryen ruled Westeros. His only child, Rhaenyra, would rather ride her dragon Syrax into battle than play princess, and she confides this to her best friend Alicent Hightower, daughter of the King's Hand Otto. But she's a princess in Westeros and she has a duty. Viserys' wife, Aemma, is pregnant and she's expecting a boy who would become his heir. His current heir is his menace brother Daemon, who's married to Rhea Royce, who he hates, has a mistress named Mysaria, and is way too close to his niece, Rhaenyra. Daemon turns the City Watch into gold cloaks to violently clean up crime in King's Landing, pissing off the council, while Lord Corlys Velaryon, Viserys' cousin-in-law, warns the council of this group, the Triarchy, threatening trade. Viserys ignores both these problems and instead throws a big jousting tournament where a cute Dornish man, Sir Criston Cole, beats Daemon and catches Rhaenyra's eye. Meanwhile, Queen Aemma dies in childbirth after Viserys chooses to save the baby. He gets his boy for a few hours until the baby dies too. Otto then starts sending his 14-year-old daughter Alicent to go comfort the king, setting his evil plans in motion. With no son left and Viserys banning Daemon because of his nightly brothel activities, Viserys names Rhaenyra as his heir, and tells her of Aegon the Conqueror's prophecy, where a strong ruler must unite the realm against a future darkness. And that's the prophecy that takes place in Game of Thrones. Episode 2. 6 months later, Corlys begs the crown to do something about Crab Feeder in the Stepstones, but Viserys still does nothing. Rhaenyra appoints Criston Cole to the Kingsguard. Daemon steals a dragon egg and takes Dragonstone with Mysaria. Otto tries confronting him, but Daemon's dragon Caraxes backs him up. Imagine squaring up to a guy and misses his backup. Rhaenyra shows up on Syrax and makes Daemon back down. Viserys then shocks everyone by choosing to marry Alicent instead of Corlys' 12-year-old daughter Lyanna, who he offered up. Rhaenyra feels betrayed, Corlys is furious, and he allies with Daemon to fight the Crab Feeder. Episode 3. 2 years later, Viserys and Alicent now have a son named Aegon, leading everyone to question if the king is going to switch up heirs. He assures Rhaenyra he won't, but he also has her choose a suitable match for herself, so mixed signals. Out in the Stepstones, Daemon and Corlys are stuck fighting the Crab Feeder, and when Viserys sends aid, Daemon takes it as an insult, so naturally he launches a mission to fake surrender, kill a bunch of men, survives impossible odds, and kill the Crab Feeder himself. Problem solved. There's also this hunt in celebration of Aegon's second name day, where the men are on a hunt to find this legendary white stag, but it appears peacefully before Rhaenyra, a sign of the prophecy. Episode 4. Rhaenyra begins her marriage tour, meeting a bunch of terrible options, so she quits and returns home, which is valid. Daemon also returns to King's Landing after winning the war in the Stepstones, declaring his loyalty to Viserys. But of course, he starts chatting with Rhaenyra about a political marriage between them, which would conveniently make him king. However, she wants to be single and childless as to not end up like her mother, which is also valid. He still brings her out in the town with no ulterior motives at all. She sees that the small folk don't want a queen and prefer Aegon, the 2-year-old. But then the freak brings her to a brothel where they kiss, but he stops it before it goes further. So she goes home and sleeps with Criston Cole, which is an upgrade from her uncle, for now. The next day, Otto reports on this. Viserys banishes Daemon again and orders Rhaenyra to marry Corlys' son, Lenore. She agrees only if Otto is removed as Hand, so he is. Backfired on him. Episode 5. Daemon murders his estranged wife, Rhea Royce, so he can be single again. Charming. Rhaenyra marries Lenore, who's gay, but they agree to do their duty politically while living separate lives. During the wedding feast, Criston brutally kills Leonore's lover Joffrey out of nowhere. Viserys collapses, and Rhaenyra meets Harwin Strong, the son of the new Hand, Lionel. A beautiful start to married life. Episode 6. 10 years later, everyone's been recast, and Rhaenyra now has 3 sons who look suspiciously like Harwin Strong. Alicent is furious about this, and Criston is her loyal attack dog. Still a knight of the Kingsguard after murdering someone at a wedding. Wild. Alicent's son Aemond is bullied for not having a dragon by his brother Aegon and Rhaenyra's sons Jace and Luke. Lionel Strong, the Hand, is upset at the rumors about his son being the father of the Valerian boys, so he sends him back to Heron Hall. However, when Alicent complains to Sir Larys Strong, he has his father and brother assassinated in a fire. Okay. Alicent is horrified, but her father is returned as Hand. In Pentos, Daemon is now married to Lyanna, with 2 daughters, Baela and Rhaena. But during a difficult childbirth, Daemon is given the same choice Viserys was given at the start: cut her open or potentially lose them both. He chooses to leave it up to the gods, learning from his brother's mistakes, I suppose. Unfortunately, Lyanna knows what's going on, and instead goes to Vhagar, asking her dragon to burn her alive. It is devastating and brutal, one of the saddest exits in the show. Episode 7. After Lyanna's funeral, Aemond claims Vhagar, the biggest dragon. Huge win for him, terrible for everyone else. The kids fight, Aemond calls Rhaenyra's sons bastards, and Luke cuts out Aemond's eye. Alicent demands revenge, but Viserys doesn't really care about the whole thing. And Aemond says he's fine because he's got Rhaegar now. An eye for a dragon. Rhaenyra and Daemon sleep together, fake Leonore's death so he can run away with his new lover. Good for him. And they marry immediately, because nothing says tasteful mourning period like a same-week incest wedding. Episode 8. 6 years later, Viserys is basically decomposing while the Hightowers are running things. A succession fight breaks out over Driftmark. Corlys's brother Vaemond argues Luke is illegitimate, so he should be the heir instead. He's correct, but rude about it, so Daemon cuts off his head. Again, problem solved. Rhaenyra and Daemon have more kids, and Rhaenyra sets up a marriage between Jason Baela and Luke and Rhaena. Yay, cousin marriage. Also step-siblings. After a family dinner, Viserys' health takes a turn for the worse. He mistakes Alicent for Rhaenyra and rambles about Aegon and the prince that was promised. Alicent naturally assumes he means her son Aegon, and he passes away. Though he was talking about Aegon the Conqueror and still wanted Rhaenyra to rule. Episode 9. Alicent spreads this news to the small council, and they reveal they already wanted Aegon on the throne. The one guy who objects, Lord Beesbury, is killed by Criston, so plan in motion. Alicent is against an assassination and prefers a good old-fashioned coup, but uh-oh, Aegon is missing, because he doesn't want this job. Criston, Aemond, and the twin Kingsguard knights, Auric and Eric, search for him. I'm going to distinguish their names because I think they're actually supposed to be pronounced the same thing, but that gets confusing, so. While Otto tells some lords of the change of plans, one of them, Lord Caswell, attempts to flee, but he's hung, so saying no isn't exactly an option. Aegon is found, returned to King's Landing, and crowned king. Meanwhile, Eric helps Rhaenys, Viserys' cousin and Corlys' wife, escape the Red Keep with her dragon Meleys as she snubs Aegon as king, but spares the Greens. A decision people will question forever. Episode 10. At Dragonstone, Rhaenyra learns her father is dead and Aegon has been crowned. The stress sends her into premature labor, resulting in a stillbirth. Once recovered, she's symbolically crowned queen by Sir Eric, who defected from King's Landing. The Black Council gathers to assess their chances. They have more dragons and some strong allies, but the Greens hold King's Landing. To gather some allies, Jace flies to the Vale and North on Vermax, and Luke to Storm's End on Arax. Unfortunately, Aemond and Vhagar beat Luke to the Baratheons, who accept a marriage pact with the Greens and turn Luke away. This leads to a confrontation between the princes in the sky, ending in Vhagar killing Luke and Arax, thus officially beginning the war between the Greens and the Blacks. Season 2, Episode 1. In Winterfell, Jace secures the errands and Stark support, but returns home after hearing Luke is dead. In King's Landing, Aegon learns the Stormlands, Reach, and Westerlands support the Greens, while the Riverlands seem black. Also, Alicent is having an affair with Criston. Elsewhere, Daemon persuades Mysaria to help him infiltrate the Red Keep. He convinces a soldier and a rat catcher, aka Blood and Cheese, to assassinate Aemond. Instead, they find Aegon's wife's sister, Helena, with her children, and working off Daemon's a son for a son logic, they behead little Jaehaerys. Absolutely horrific. Episode 2. Aegon rages after the death of his son, while guards round up servants. Otto turns a tragedy into PR strategy by organizing a funeral procession through the city, where Helena and Alicent are paraded in grief, while the public is shown what Team Black did to a child. Aegon interrogates and kills Blood, then hangs all the rat catchers in the city because one of them helped him. Otto points out that this is insane and undid the sympathy from the funeral, so Aegon fires him and names Criston Hand. At Dragonstone, Rhaenyra is horrified by the child's murder and realizes Daemon was behind it. Their relationship fractures badly, and he storms off to Harrenhal on Caraxes. Meanwhile, Criston sends Auric to infiltrate Dragonstone and kill Rhaenyra, but his twin brother Eric stops him, kills him, then takes his own life. Devastating, meaningless sacrifices. Episode 3. The Riverlands begin tearing themselves apart as Blackwoods and Brackens choose sides. Daemon takes Harrenhal and starts hallucinating in the haunted castle. He's even told by a mysterious woman that he will die there, so if he dies there in season 3, we know why. Rhaenyra sends Rhaena, her youngest sons, and the dragon eggs to safety in the Vale. Then she sneaks into King's Landing to meet Alicent and stop the war. Learning of the prophecy, Alicent realizes she might have made a mistake, but believes it's too late. Episode 4. Daemon meets resident witch Alice Rivers and secures Willem Blackwood's support in exchange for crushing the Brackens. Lucky for him, he's great at that kind of thing. Criston campaigns through the Crownlands and launches a trap at Rook's Rest. Rhaenys and Meleys attack the Greens. Aegon and Sunfire get horribly injured, and Aemond and Vhagar kill Rhaenys and Meleys. One of the most noble characters dies, and another dragon is lost. Episode 5. Criston parades Meleys' severed head through King's Landing, but the people see it as a bad omen. Aegon may die, so Alicent offers herself up as regent, but the council picks Aemond. Daemon and Willem Blackwood intimidate the Brackens with Caraxes, but reports soon spread, so some Riverlords arrive to tell Daemon they won't fight for a tyrant. Jace secures passage from the Freys for Stark forces in exchange for a dragon and Harrenhal later. Corlys becomes Rhaenyra's hand, and she and Jace start researching Targaryen relatives who could ride dragons in their name because they're getting desperate. Episode 6. Aemond sidelines Alicent and recalls Otto while Aegon is slowly recovering. At Dragonstone, Sir Steffon Darklyn tries to claim Seasmoke and gets burned alive. Seasmoke then targets Adam of Hall, Corlys's bastard, which was horrifying for him, but funny to the audience. Rhaenyra sends food to the starving King's Landing, winning favor. She then kisses Mysaria before being interrupted by the news that Seasmoke has chosen a rider. Episode 7. Rhaenyra meets Adam, who swears loyalty to her. The Black Council is scandalized that a bastard commoner rides a dragon now, and Mysaria convinces her to double down and start recruiting more bastards. But Jace worries this may affect his claim as the heir, because he knows he's illegitimate, which is fair, but this is war, so. Still, word spreads in King's Landing and reaches bastards like Ulf and Hugh. A bunch of them show up and are killed by Vermithor, who chooses Hugh, and Ulf accidentally bonds with Silverwing. And over at Harrenhal, Daemon has to execute his best ally, Willem Blackwood, to satisfy the Riverlords. R.I.P. Episode 8, the final episode. Larys convinces Aegon to flee to Essos and return after everyone destroys each other, which is pretty smart from a crazy guy. In the Vale, Rhaena finds a wild dragon sheep stealer. Back in King's Landing, Helaena predicts Aemond will die at the God's Eye, and Aegon will rule again. The dreamer has spoken. Daemon has visions of the White Walkers, the Three-Eyed Raven, Daenerys and her dragons, and Rhaenyra on the throne, so now he knows what he must do. Rhaenyra arrives at Harrenhal, worried that Daemon might be plotting, but after his dream, he and the Riverlords kneel to her. Later, Alicent secretly meets Rhaenyra in Dragonstone and offers to surrender King's Landing if Helaena and Jahara are spared. Rhaenyra agrees only if Aegon and Aemond die, and Alicent realizes that peace now means sacrificing her sons, and she leaves. Should have accepted it before. As armies mobilize across Westeros, everyone prepares for the next bloodbath, and I'm scared. And that was The House of the Dragon, Season 1 and Season 2. We've gone from one family arguing over inheritance to a full-scale war with dragons, and I am very glad they do not exist in real life. We also have prophecies and haunted castles and lots of people who need therapy. Right now, Rhaenyra has the momentum. She's got Dragonstone, more dragon riders, the Valyrian fleet, support from the north, the Vale, and the Riverlords, and Daemon finally supporting his wife. But the Greens still hold King's Landing and the flying nuclear weapon that is Vhagar. I already know how the war ends because of the books, so I can't give a proper theory for this one. And I know one particular event is coming soon that will be devastating to me, but no spoilers here. And we know that in about 100 years from now, dragons will basically be extinct, so something tells me this war is going to be very sad. I hate to watch the dragons die. I haven't read the books, so I don't know every single event that's coming, just the ones I've been spoiled on, so I'm hoping there will still be moments that shock me. So I guess we will see how it all goes down. Like and comment your thoughts and theories on where the show's going. Subscribe for more recaps, reactions, and deep dives. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.